Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks again for stopping by. Beautiful day out here today, a little overcast. Mid 60s, I gotta believe it is. I haven't really checked, but it's nice and warm. As you can see, I'm basically in a short sleeve, thin shirt. I'm on one of my favorite lakes to fish, Houghton Lake in northern Michigan. It's, if you're not familiar with it, it's the largest inland lake in the state at 22,000 acres. There's some canals just 100 yards away from me here. I'm going to paddle in there and see if I can't find some crappies and bluegills. I was in there just a few days ago and there was quite a few. The crappies are pretty much in mid-spawn right now. The canal temperatures are 60, lower 60s, upper 50s, so they're in pretty much all stages of the spawn. There's some crappie still out in the main lake. There's some crappie spawning on some of the north shores of the main lake. And then in the canals themselves, there's crappies up in the shallows spawning. There's crappies in the deeper parts of the canals not quite ready spawned, and there's some already spawned out. We're gonna head over there and see what we can find. It's probably about 4 feet deep off the end of that dock. And I just put it right over there by that post. Feels like a pretty good bluegill here. Oh yeah, not a bad way to start. Real nice one, real nice. There we go. That's a dandy there. If I were keeping fish today, that'd be a keeper, but just catch and release today. Real nice fish. Love the colors on them. Caught that one on typical little 64th ounce jig like I always use. Got the Berkeley Gulp Emerald Shiner Minnow one there. Set about 18 inches below my clear bobber. That one I caught right up here off the left post of this dock. When I'm sitting in the middle of these canals and I'm fishing the docks, I'm fishing towards the edges on the docks, I'll take my other pole and just let it hang over the side. This canal's about 7 feet deep, 8 feet deep, something at the most. And it'll often pick up fish as I'm drifting along. Like this real nice crappie right here. Not a real slab, but it's a dandy. You can see there, that's a good one for sure. Got that one on a purple jig head. Just drifting through this canal, got it down there about 3-4 feet is all. That's a female full of eggs. We'll let her go too. Using these little jigs with these minnow imitations, just to always make sure, and I've said it many times, just make sure that's in a nice straight line and make sure that's pushed right up tight to that jig head. Make sure that's up there flush. Some crappies, they're pretty picky and they generally won't hit it if it's back a little ways. Every once in a while, just remember to give that line a little twitch and impart some action into that minnow down there, because for the most part, minnows are going to be swimming around a little bit anyways. They generally aren't just sitting there. So give it a little action from time to time. There we go. Oh, I missed him. Oh. Had that typical crappie bite, just stood that bobber up and then slowly pulled it down. And sometimes when I miss one like that, then I'll take my other pole, basically same bait, except this one's got a purple jig, my one with the bobber has an orange one. So I'll flip that purple one over there and just give them a slightly different presentation. And sometimes, whether it's the same fish or other fish in the area, we'll go ahead and grab it. Oh, I got something big here. Ooh, ooh. Oh, I probably got me a big old bass on my ultralight here. Oh yeah. Oh, she's a dandy. Not a bad one from my ultralight. That'll work. Decent fish. The hook was just barely in there. Not bad. Well, that's pretty good so far. I've been out about a half hour, caught a crappie, bluegill, largemouth. That's a good evening already. Still got a couple hours to go, but we'll see, because there's some rain clouds hanging over there, looking like they're going to come this way. Not that the rain clouds bother me, it's just kind of got to be concerned with my camera stuff. But until it happens, we just keep on fishing. Pretty good fish so far this evening. Basically all filletable, keepable fish. Bluegills, I like to have them 7.5 inches or bigger. Crappies, generally 10. 9 I might if I'm really looking for a fish fry and we want to get a mess of fish and I'm into a good mess of 9 to 10 inches, then I'll keep them 9. I pretty much never keep them under 9 unless they're hooked bad. Feels like a pretty decent fish here. Oh, nice bluegill. Good fish right there. Dandy. Those are good eating fish right there, 8, 8.5 inches, 9 inches. Get a nice fat fillet off them. Put this right back over there, see what happens. I went there and messed with it quite a bit before it finally hit it. I mean, I seen that bobbler just twitch, and I don't know if it was the same fish. I mean, it could have been some little ones picking at it, and then he decided to come over there and grab it. But either way, just had to be patient until I seen that bobber stand upright and start going under. There's one right there. Feels like a little one here. Not bad. Fat little female full of eggs. Nice little fish. That one hit it just about as soon as it hit the water. I made probably 2 cranks on the reel and that was it. There we go. This feels like a pretty stout fish here. Oh, big old bass. Big bass. I mean, for an ultralight, it's a big bass. a pretty nice one there. That'll work. That's a couple pounder on my ultralight. Beautiful fish. Wasn't even paying attention to that one. Little crappie. That's when my camera looked up and had a fish on my line. This feels like a little better crappie here. Or bass, one of the two. Oh, pretty nice crappie. Not too shabby there. Full of eggs. This particular spot right here is one of my favorites because there's just a lot going on. Here's a fish right here. There's a lot of stuff going on here along the shore, and I think that's another nice crappie. That's why these are here. There's a lot of docks, a lot of legs of stuff sticking down in the water, and it's a fairly deep canal, 7 feet or so. And so they have cover and they have deep water all right close to each other. So you tend to get a lot of these until the water gets too warm. When it starts getting full of weeds and algae, then they're gone. But until that happens, they're here, pre-spawn, all through the spawn and post-spawn. I'll show you when I'm fishing around. If you look right over here, you can see there's just a lot of stuff happening over there. So some days, like when it's really sunny, they'll be right up under those docks in the shade, and they'll stay on the shade side. Wherever that line of shade is, they'll be by it. Like now, it's fairly overcast, so they're out in the open, and they're 6 feet or 5 feet away from the ends of those docks. But as you see, like I said, there's a lot over there to hold fish. And generally what I do is I start casting out away, 6 feet, 7, 8 feet from the ends of them docks, and then I'll just gradually work my casts in closer. That way if there's fish up in there close and there's fish out far, I'm not pulling them fish that are up closer to shore out through them other schools of fish. I want to just kind of work my way through the fish going toward shore. I just think it doesn't spook the rest of them as bad. There we go. A nice one. Not real big, but they're fun to catch. And those are eaters. About 9 inches, 10 inches, give or take. I don't think I've caught one under 9. Maybe one, I guess. Not a whole lot, though. I just had one hit my bobber. That's the one thing about them clear bobbers. I have it hit a lot. So I'm sure they can't really see it up there. They just see a ripple on the surface. So they think it's a fly. So it's not disturbing the fish at all. If it's dirty water, if it's deep water, it doesn't really matter. But this water's fairly clear. The fish are up pretty close. I'd much rather just use the clear bobber and not take a chance of them seeing the bobber and getting spooked by it. There we go. Here's a little one here. That's a tiny one. What I like to do with this jig is I'll give it a 1 or 2 count, the jig without the bobber, because you know, when they're hitting the jig that's under my bobber and it's down there about 18 inches, well, I know the fish are active in that depth, so I want to keep it in there. So, you know, I'll count this jig down 1 or 2, and that gets it down there 1 foot to 2 feet. You know, 1, 2, and there it is. And then I'll just start reeling it in. A nice steady retrieve, and that keeps it in that water level about equal to where I was getting the other fish. Sink's about 1 foot a second, basically. So, you know, you can keep that in mind in any depth of water. You know, if you happen to be fishing deeper water, 10, 12 feet down, that's where the fish are. Well, just remember, if you're not using a bobber or a slip bobber or anything, count your jig down to 10 or 12 and keep it in that area. Nice little bonus. Couple of deer out here along the shoreline. I always like seeing them. Ooh, feels like a pretty good bluegill here. Oh yeah. Nice one. Nice bluegill. Caught that one right between these 2 docks here. Some areas by docks are definitely better than others. You know, the ones that have a lot of legs going down, you know, a lot of the posts and what have you. Cross members, the more cross members, as far as I'm concerned, the better. Here's a nice little example right here of the type of dock setup that I like. You see here, obviously there's 2, 3 docks right close together, so there's a lot of posts going down in the water. Right at the end of them docks is 3 or 4 feet deep. I'm in about 7 or 8 feet deep, so there's a nice fairly quick drop here. Besides that, if you look, and we'll go up here a little closer, in between there's these docks, you might be able to see it, but there's lily pads growing in there as well. So not only do the docks offer structure, but those lily pads are, same with right over here. Those lily pads are offering structure over there in between too. So you got a little bit of everything going on right here, which makes it a great location to hold all kinds of fish. Nice crappie. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening. Been out, I don't know, probably 2.5 hours or so. Did pretty good. Caught, I don't know, dozen and a half crappies, a few good bluegills, 3 nice bass. Don't forget to keep an eye out for my upcoming videos for the 6 Kayak Summer Series. You can watch it in my playlist, and I'll just be posting it right directly to my channel, but I'll also post it in my playlist along with the videos that the other 5 anglers will be sharing. Oops, I just had one there. Be sure to keep in mind, if you miss a fish, just follow it up with something different. You know, as soon as you get your bait reeled in, go ahead and flip something else over in that same general area, because often the fish will hit something different. They might not hit the same exact thing that they just hit, but they might hit something else. Thanks again, everybody, for stopping by. Appreciate you coming along with me.